Awesome. We are back. And
Yes.
that's a beautiful song.
Beautiful song.
But also equally
Very
a beautiful
song.
video.
Beautiful video. I was
Yeah.
telling you, I had never paid attention to it properly. And seeing the family.
Yeah, because I think there are two versions
Yeah,
of the goodness of
I
God.
think I've seen the other
Yeah,
one.
so
I've
it's
never
the other
seen
one.
this one.
This one is an intimate whereby
Very
she has
intimate,
the
yeah.
entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grandchild included.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I've seen this morning, and I think that reminds me of the
most
unique
beautiful
thing I've seen this
morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was anything?
No.
Okay.
No. That's a issue hapo. Let that convo.
Oh my God! Let us go to the daily.
All right.
Yes, and I can see.
You want to start with the nation?
Yeah, let me start with the nation.
Okay.
Because I can see it's like they've changed the person who was working on the front page. Either that or they've really improved, because as you can see, it's not the usual way they panga the news. It looks quite different
Who's that
and unique.
gentleman there?
Oh, this is governor's brother. Is also being held by detectives. This is Mr. Murega Baichu, the husband of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. So he's also being held by detectives alongside 8 other suspects. This is really, really interesting. I see Madam Mwangaza husband and sister quizzed. This is what is happening. Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's husband and sister are the latest members of her family to be targeted for questioning over the brutal killing of blogger Daniel Muthiani, aka Sniper. So yeah, that is happening right there. And the one who was killed is Daniel Muthiani, alias Sniper, and we see the whole governor's household has been involved in this. Remember, we've been doing news about more suspects and more suspects being uncovered, and now we are having this happening. This is quite unfortunate, and it's a story that you can find on page 7. And on other news, I see right here on page 2, student held for murder had deferred his studies. So we have victim's mother says she's poor and had pegged hopes of a better life on her daughter. That is on the news that I think we also covered some time back. Machakos DCI boss Singinzioka says, we believe that Omondi, who is the main suspect in the murder, has more information, which he has been sharing. A story that you can find on page 2, which is a reason for us to definitely pray. We are having these cases happening so many times, which is really, really unfortunate. So Crispin Omondi is the main suspect in the murder of fellow Machakos University student Harriet Mora. Quite unfortunate. And on page 3, I see grandmother blazing the trail as professional diver. This is very, very interesting. Salin Jerry, 64, teaches a young girl how to swim at Hill Court Hotel in Nakuru. I think I need to book this lady. Because even with all my years in Mombasa, I still don't know how to swim. It's unperturbing. You can imagine that the mother of 1 and grandmother of 2 has over 35 years of experience in coaching and life saving. And at 64, she's literally training a child to swim. This is on page 3. And as we move forward, Koome calls for talks with Ruto over his attacks on the courts. I see Koome termed as non-negotiable the requirement that judicial officers uphold the highest standards of integrity while discharging their duties. That is a story you can find on page 4. Page 5, I see Kalonzo plots how to gain political clout. Anasema on Tuesday today, God willing, the Wiper neck will meet and give direction on the way forward to avoid misunderstanding. Wiper Party holds its first National Executive Committee meeting this year today to chart the way forward. I think some time back we did a story that he has begun his campaigns already as early as now. A story you can find on page 5. And when we go to 6, I see succession talk. Ill-timed Gachagua chides critics. DP says his main focus is to help the president achieve the goals he has set. Okay, that's on the political beat. That is on page 6. And lastly, before I go to the sports page, I see Treasury one step closer to single account as Cabinet approves plan. Okay, approval is a culmination of a decade-long effort to consolidate government funds under one account, and 510 billion shillings is the value of deposits by central government and state agencies in commercial banks at the end of June 2023, according to data from the Central Bank of Kenya. And when we go to the back page, I see it how German firm bribed KRA officials to win tenders. U.S. Justice Department's Criminal Division shows subsidiary got 2015 deal fraudulently. A story you can find on the back page of the Daily Nation. And on the sports page, I see football. AFC Leopards back-to-back wins against Ulinzi. Muhoroni bring confidence. Champions Gor preserve unbeaten run in league. And I also see something to do with the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. That will be happening from January 13th to February the 11th. I see that Egypt needed a Salah injury time penalty to draw with Mozambique. Salah saves Egypt and Ghana falls. And 2-1 is the score in Cape Verde upset win over Ghana. That's it for the dailies.
Right, the Standard, they go with the story of the CJ addressing the president. CJ to Ruto,
Yes.
do not lead us to anarchy. Tough talk. Justice Martha Koome has warned the president and his allies that undermining the judiciary is an assault to democracy and will only take the country down the path of chaos and lawlessness. So the Judicial Service Commission yesterday holding a media briefing to respond to the allegations made by the president and his ally over corruption claims within the judiciary. And the one thing that I found funny, was that you see this picture here.
Yeah.
This is Justin Muturi. He is the country's Attorney General.
Attorney.
All right, Attorney General.
Yes.
Now, the Attorney General, one of the roles of an Attorney General is he is the government's legal advisor.
Okay.
So he advises, including, of course, the government, the president as well.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, while he was standing behind the CJ, asking the president not to lead us to the path of anarchy, as the government's chief legal advisor,
Yes.
why can't you, behind the scenes at State House, advise the president not to lead us in this direction instead of you coming here to stand behind the CJ to tell the president? You know, I was trying to...
Yeah.
You know?
There should be an order of things.
Exactly.
You know,
So
you're the legal
as the AG,
advisor.
we just advise the president. Tell him, Mr. President, you may be having a point, but this is not the right way.
Unless he didn't want to listen in private.
Maybe, yes. Yeah, but anyway, just me thinking as a law-abiding Kenyan.
Yes, citizen.
So that story is covered on page 7 inside the Standard.
Okay.
I also see on the front page, Gachagwa's Mount Kenya woes deepen. The touting of Gichuru MP as region's supremo has split opinion and given DP a new headache as he's seeking to be Centro's kingpin. So these kingpins. All right, so that is on page 8. Then I see DPP lawyers clash in Mandago trial. Director of Public Prosecution has denied claims that Uasin Gishu senator is interfering with witnesses in Finland scholarship case. Remember that very sad story. So the case continues, and you can read that on page 14. I also see a journey of 1,000 miles begins. There's a boda guy and then a boy being taken to school with a mattress and a bucket there. And so a rider ferries a parent and a student along Kisii-Keroka Highway to join Form 1 yesterday. So 1.4 million is the number of students who are expected to join Form 1 this week. And schools have already reported congestion since there was no investment in infrastructure to accommodate all. So that picture, I believe, was replicated yesterday and the whole of this week as the Form 1s are reporting to school. Pensioners' 30-year vein wait for 74,000 shillings.
What?
Owaka's predicament depicts harrowing tales of retirees who fall in distress while chasing the wind in their sunset days. Judge orders pensions boss to appear before the court on January 30th for mitigation and sentencing for denying 82-year-old pensioner his heyday savings. Imagine 30 years waiting for your pension.
And people are paying a lot of money towards that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Raila says attacks on courts hurting Kenya's democracy. I read that. Family identifies woman murdered in Roy Sambu house.
Oh.
The woman had checked into the Airbnb in the greenhouse apartment B1 with an unknown man. Detectives are reviewing CCTV footage of the Airbnb and plan to check phone calls records as well. It's a story you can read on page 2. Lusaka, this is an interesting one. He says teens who fall pregnant should not be allowed back to class.
Oh. Wow.
The governor says prohibiting pregnant girls from attending classes would arrest such behavior. He emphasized legal consequences for men who impregnate schoolgirls. Read that on page 12. Back page, it's all about the Africa Cup of Nations. Day of shocks as Ghana's Black Stars left wounded. Big guns, Nigeria, Egypt held to draws in day of upsets at AFCON action. Champions Senegal begin title defense with 3-0 win over 10-man Gambia. So that you said Teranga Lions is your team. So they began with a victory. New owner Ratcliffe watches as Man United are held. So that is what's happening as well. Burkina Faso expectant of victory against Mauritania today. So today we have 3 matches. Burkina Faso versus Mauritania, 5 p.m. Tunisia versus Namibia at 8 p.m. And then Mali will be taking on Bafana of South Africa. That is from 11 p.m. And I see Odongo leading Shujaa fight for redemption on page 38.
Beautiful, amazing. All right, what's the highlight on the Business Daily?
How German firm bribed KRA officials to win software tender. Kickbacks channeled through Zimbabwe company. SAP aided to improperly access contract documents.
Okay, and I think that's a story that has also been captured in the Daily Nation.
All right.
But yeah, that's it. We have just a few, just a minute. Just a minute towards the second hour. We're going to be bringing a guest. Remember, the conversation of the day today is all about addiction. And I would love also to hear from our viewers. We would love to know, have you ever battled with an addiction? And, you know, how was that process? How did God bring you out? We'd love to also receive any testimonies that you may have. Remember, we are also on X at Hope TV Kenya. On YouTube, you can be following this live on YouTube. If you need to get out of the house, no worries. You can definitely keep streaming. And on WhatsApp, 0708222323 is the number that you can use to send us any questions, any concerns that you may be having regarding the topic of the day today. We'll be having Felix Kokoya, who has battled addiction and is also a reformed gangster, and he has also recovered from addiction. He will be telling us his amazing life-changing story.
Right, that's in the next hour.
Each morning to a moment of worship.